is in the middle. Checks back against Carter and scores!
Quickly gets it back again. Oh, what a goal! Well, that sums up her season. The Gunners are WSL champions.
Welcome to Vic Akers Wonderland. Well, it was a nice game at the weekend, wasn't it? 2-1 Arsenal against Aston Villa. Oh, sorry, no, that was a year ago today. A week, and probably not to remember. I am here with, as you probably heard him chuckling, Adam. How are you?
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, that did caught me off guard, which is rare because normally I'm the one that's catching you off guard. So it's a nice change of pace. It's a nice change of the dynamic. Yeah, it's not been a great week for Arsenal. It's probably been up there, one of the worst ones I'd say since I've been properly following the club, sadly, and I'm looking forward to picking it apart tonight.
And always joined by the lovely Lottie. How are you?
It's nice to be back. I can see you two have not missed me this last week. Like, I know I was sick last week, but you clearly haven't missed me.
Of course,
we miss you all the time.
It's so easy to wind up. It's fun. Your face then, like, well, what do I say to her now? She's offended. Sorry, Matt, I can't help myself. You know that.
That's all right. Waiting patiently in the wings is a guest tonight, Lottie. Lottie tonight.
Well.
Lucy, sorry.
Oh dear.
1 minute I've already gone wrong. How are you, Lucy?
I'm good. Yourself?
Sorry, but you're not even blonde.
I know. Struggling there.
I think we should get on with it then. A game against Chelsea at the Emirates. It's usually one of those games that you look forward to, the blockbuster that is the WSL. This is one of the games that's always on TV. It's the one that you want to watch. Usually this is one that brings in a lot of people in. Usually the attendance is roughly around that 50,000 to higher, unless you're in the first season when Sky had it, then it was just under, Adam, it was just under 10,000, is that correct?
About 8 to 10,000, yeah.
8 to 10,000.
Yeah.
So it is one of those ones that you look at and go, that's the poster, that's what you're getting with the WSL. It didn't start like that, did it? 1-0 after 3 minutes. This is just one of those ones that you're not sure how it happens, but somehow Ramirez has scored basically by flicking a foot over the ball, and the ball just trickles slowly over both Duffner and the defenders and into the back of the net. Lucy, just describe those first couple of minutes before.
Do you know what? When that ball hit the back of the net, it's like I deflated. I think I knew from that moment on we wasn't going to win the game. I sort of held a bit of belief, but I knew we were in for a horror show.
That what was going on in the atmosphere as well, both Lottie and Adam, you were both there as well, was that sort of that there was just no atmosphere to speak of because that's taken the wind out of the sails?
I think for me, after Bayern Munich, after Everton, I just didn't really want to be there. Like, I wanted to support the team, but I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to be at the Chelsea game. I knew what was coming. We did lose. And it's really irritating because they've never won at the Emirates, and now they have. Now there's no sort of as fear factor to it, like coming to the Emirates and actually trying to win the game. I think it reminds me of an interview I've read by Emma Hayes. She used to, I think she had dummies or something with Arsenal shirts on it to teach them not to be afraid of the Arsenal or something like that. And it's I know it's a new era, but it slightly annoys me that it's got to this point again, because we were saying last season the only thing we were missing from West Ham and Tottenham, the Tottenham games last year, was Chelsea winning the Emirates, full house, and it's just I weren't happy about it, put it that way.
Adam, just the goal in general.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the pub with Lottie beforehand, and I didn't want to be there either. I was saying I had no energy going into the game.
There was no
No.
singing, no nothing, not even from me, and that's something.
I knew we weren't. I mean, if you listen to the preview, I predicted we'd lose. I mean, I think shout out to you, Matt. You called this one correctly. You know, it's small consolation, I know, but you did predict this one correctly. I didn't know. I knew we were going to win to the extent that I had written my match report beforehand to say that we weren't going to win because I knew we weren't going to win. It was just not. And yes, Arsenal could have surprised us. I mean, there was the team sheet, Mariona at 10, and you think, oh, that could, maybe it will all click, and maybe suddenly we'll get like another 4-1, and then that early goal goes in. And it is just like a gut punch, and it's just pours cold water over the whole affair, and you just realise I'm now here for the next 85 minutes, and based on what I've seen of Arsenal since the start of the season, I have no confidence that they're going to suddenly become prime Barcelona, put some great passing moves together, cut this Chelsea defence open, and score lots of goals, and it'll all be fine. I never felt that, it was a. I think Lottie's right. I went there obviously because I'll always go and support Arsenal. I mean, if you're going to Arsenal just because you want to see a team win, I'm sorry, that's not how football works. I'm going there because I support Arsenal, and whatever the weather, win or lose or whatever. But I felt like I was going in knowing I wasn't going to have a fun Saturday, which isn't a great feeling to have.
Lucy, I've done it again. Is that how you felt as well? Just everything.
I'll be honest with you, I wasn't looking forward to the game either. I thought we was going to lose. Like Adam says, I will go and support the team regardless. But it's almost behind closed eyes sometimes because I don't want to see what's happening on the pitch, but I will always follow the team no matter what.
We didn't have much luck further down the line. About 10 minutes later, Baltimore scores. And this is just very, very bad. I don't know if people have seen the screenshot of how bad it was, but essentially you got players out position playing centre back, and centre backs playing in half positions. If the cross comes in and Baltimore has essentially a free range to have a shot anywhere, and she heads it into the back of the net, this really was shambles all around. There was no pressure on the ball, there was no pressure on the players either. It just felt very, very flat and very much like if you were teaching, say, people a couple of years old, or and you try and teach them to not follow the ball. It felt like very much that instant where they were all following the ball and someone's just there to score home. It's another issue for them, Adam.
Yeah, no, it was shambles. I couldn't think of a better or maybe worse word to describe the setup. It's not just that as well. It starts earlier on. Ramirez, and we should say hats off to Ramirez because she absolutely destroyed Leah Williamson in that game. She gave Leah an absolute nightmare, and there were warning signs that she had their number early on. In fact, the corner for the first goal comes from Ramirez getting the run on Leah on the back line. This time around, she's just stronger with the ball in the channel, out muscles the defenders, gets the platform, supporting runners come in. Lauren James beats our defenders way too easy in the box. You watch them, they panic, they stop, they don't even try and engage Lauren James, they actually back off, and she gets a free dart to the byline, as chip into the box. Fox and Mead are all drawn to the centre of the penalty area. That can't happen. One of them, I don't care who, one of them has to be on the back stick. And you can't have it. I mean, watching it from where we were, Lottie, obviously we were on what was Arsenal's defensive right, and we could see that there's something really wrong here when Baltimore's free at the back stick and our two right-sided players are in the middle of the box, and it just absolute shambles. And for me, that's lack of communication and lack of awareness. And that is, I'd say, endemic of a team that is just devoid of confidence, that they're not doing the basics. You're not doing the basics right in this situation. And Jonas could say time and time, well, we prepared for this game, but in the heat of that moment, in the London derby, they just weren't at the races in those opening 10, 20 minutes. And Chelsea exploited that. I'll just say that on the corner, it was a great goal by Ramirez. I still think, we didn't win the first ball. We didn't really take control of that situation. we flip back to the Bayern game and all those goals we conceded from set pieces that made the game impossible for us to win. And it's just all sort of stacking up of just these problems that weren't being solved, aren't being solved. And now we're 2 goals down under, I think it was 16 minutes or something. It was ridiculous. There was a stat flying around. Chelsea haven't lost a game after being 2-0 up, or lost a win, for example, for like over 10 years or something. It's like a ridiculous amount of time the last time Chelsea chucked a 2-goal lead. So at that point, you're thinking it's mission impossible. And the fact that 60 minutes, the worst you're thinking is, could it go even more? There was a game before lockdown, similar circumstances. Arsenal lost 4-1 at Meadow Park to Chelsea, and it was like Chelsea in that instance, Chelsea were 3-0 up after about 20 minutes or so. The goals just kept coming, and Arsenal just were not at the races. And I was fearing a repeat of that.
It did feel like it was a bloodbath. And Lottie, was that what you were feeling?
I knew it was coming, and it hasn't been right for weeks, regardless of how we qualified for the Champions League, because that's the only games we've had joy out of. Let's be honest. And it's been a long first 3 weeks of the season, and title race is off, as far as I'm concerned. We've got 4 points from 12, and yeah, it's not good enough, especially when, like you said, we're not getting the basics right. Like, I've never seen Leah Williamson bollock Lotte Wubben-Moy like she did during that game. She screamed at her, and we don't see our team do that to each other. We don't. More common scenes is Leah and Katie arguing with Jonas. Like, that's how you know something is seriously wrong within the headspace of what's behind the closed doors. You can see it in the way the players play, the way they talk to each other, and it's not a great vibe. We weren't like this maybe a year ago. What has changed between then and now?
Can I just pick up what you just said, Lottie? Because that's a really good point. Because I was talking to a person in the pub who there's a moment in the game when Ramirez had taken the ball down the touchline, and Leah Williamson frankly waved her arms in the air to say the ball's gone out of play, and it clearly hadn't.
It did, didn't it?
No, it didn't. No, the replay show it didn't. But, but basically, they're all with their hands in the air and pleading for decisions. And someone said to me, when a team is rattled, when they start asking the referee for help. And we were doing that a lot in that first half because we weren't sorted ourselves. There were hands up for offside.
We were playing to their beat, not our own, like we normally do at the Emirates.
Lucy, there were people going home after this second goal.
Yeah, there was a few. Thankfully, I mean, I would have never walked out anyway. But
none of us, just to clarify, none of us on this panel walked out. Matt wasn't at the game, but none of us walked out. We sat until the final whistle.
The idea is that there were people actually from the media box were saying that there were people walking out because they saw the second goal and they thought that's it. Sorry, Lucy, go on.
I thought they were just going to get hot dogs. No. Do you know, I mean, the walkout, I mean, I think we're lucky it stayed at the scoreline. It did, to be quite honest with you. I mean, but like Adam said, that you could tell that the players had just lost their heads completely in that first half.
There was a bright sort of spark. Sometimes you need a spark to start a fire, but this spark didn't last long. Caitlin Ford finally does fine, if no one else is going to do it, I'm going to do it myself. And this is what frustrates me most about Caitlin Ford. She'll take on the defender and she'll lose the ball. But this time she's just gone, no, just sod that. I'm going to go running at you. She beats both defenders. And then instead of passing it across because of either it wasn't going back to the player or defenders getting in the way, she's gone, right, okay, I'm going to have a shot. And she manages a little bit of luck, if I'm being honest. But we'll give it when it's due, because it was a really well taken goal from Caitlin Ford to smash it into just to hit that just before it hits the other post and goes in.
But a little bit of luck is all you need sometimes.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, and that's what we needed at that point. The only two players that can hold their head highest from that game for me is Caitlin Ford and Kate McCabe. The rest,
I agree.
Yeah, I'm. A lot of people know for a fact that I don't like Caitlin Ford. For me to be coming out and saying that is something.
Yeah.
And I've not been happy with Kate McCabe for the last year. So they're the only two players that can walk out with their heads held high. The rest of them, as much as I hate to say it, not good enough.
It's a moment of really good individual brilliance, but the problem is the way our season's been propped up at this moment is it's been built on individual brilliance and mistakes by the opposition. And this was fell into the former category. It's a really good goal, beats Lucy Bronze on the outside. And you're right, Matt, so many times she's cut the ball back, it's blocked, she's crossed, it's intercepted, nothing's happened. She's gone, yes, I'll do it myself. And to be fair, I think that it's a goal that shouldn't be scored, because that from that angle, I'm sure the keeper should have saved it. Maybe the power's beaten her, but the accuracy to bend it around the keeper in off the post, I think we were also surprised everybody else. What I would say is, since after the goal, when Chelsea went 2 goals up, I think they thought, right, we can cash out here, basically. I reckon if they wanted to, they could have gone further, but I think they basically put the brakes on, because Arsenal, yes, I think they had most of the play for the rest of the half, didn't do much with it. And I think Chelsea were relatively comfortable, but we pulled a goal out of nowhere. And of course, it does give you that sense of hope going into half time, thinking, yes, we've been rubbish for the first 20 minutes, but we pulled a goal out of nowhere, and maybe that'll be some sort of spark that will inspire the team. Second half, this could be like where the whole narrative changes. Second half, they'll be fired up. We can take that momentum into the second half, and it didn't happen.
Lucy, just that goal from Kate McFord.
Yeah, I wanted to jump in on that one actually, because she shouldn't have probably scored that, and it was probably one of the best goal of the game, I think personally. To run through that traffic and on that wing, it was perfection. And for me, again, I'm like Lottie, I'm not her biggest fan, so for me to praise her, she had a fantastic game. A 2-0 scoreline is a dodgy scoreline. I think game plan goes out the window. We get a goal back. You think, okay, glimmer of hope. Just felt like we'd have been there all day, and we wouldn't have found the back of the net again.
You do bring up a good point, though, because just going into that second half, I was looking for something, and again, it came back to the same old. 10 shots, 2 of those on target, and 3 of them were blocked. It's weird to see those sort of stats, and Chelsea have done their usual, where they go and score those goals, and then they just back off, and then that's it. They try and see
the job early.
Exactly that, Lucy. Is that sort of a worry that maybe next time Arsenal play Chelsea, if they decide to do that, say in the FA Cup, where they go, say, score 1-0 and then move towards the right, okay, we're going to see you off and for the next couple of minutes, or towards the end of the game, for example, do you think that will come back to bite them eventually? Because it nearly happened against Villa. It nearly happened a couple of times. No, they didn't play against Man United. That's game still to play. There was another game, I believe, the Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Thank you. Where that nearly happened. Is it one of those things where you think if you look at them, they're there to be got at?
I think if we was in better form, I think they were there for the taking in the second half. But I said we could have been there all day and we wouldn't have scored a goal. I think if they were playing other opposition, they would have been a bit hard.
For me on that, I think there's an element of falsehood about the second half, because a lot of people come out and said, yeah, Arsenal were great in the second half, dominated the play, they dominated possession. Yeah, all the ball was pretty much for most of the half was in the Chelsea half.
None of those stats win you a game.
No, exactly. This is the point.
They don't.
Exactly. So that as much as there's this dominance, people say dominance does not equal playing well. That's something I've spoken about recently. And the reason Arsenal, I felt, had all the territory and possession and had all those chances is because Chelsea let them. Because Chelsea knew they could sit on that lead, because we saw it in the against Everton only the previous weekend, and it was that second half was just a rerun of the Everton game all over again, with just one difference, and that is we actually looked at a half decent threat of set pieces. From open play, we weren't going to score. Too many players were passing the ball when they should be shooting, or passing backwards. There was a moment where Stina broke through, tried to pass it to Frida when she should have had a shot. Too many shots were taken from silly positions, so the defenders got their blocks in. There was no movement. There was no creative passing. There was no spark. There was nothing. And I had no confidence from open play that we were going to get the equaliser, despite all the territory and the possession and this inverted commas dominance, which again Chelsea knew they could just sit back because we just didn't have the intelligence to break them down. And yeah, there was only one moment really right at the end where we thought we might do it. Didn't happen. Obviously, we've seen her on the bar, and I looked around about added time, and I said the same thing I said on the Everton game. I said when it got to injury time, I thought, no, we're not going to score. We're not going to score. We're not going to get that second goal. We're not going to get an equaliser. This is just going to play out. And to be fair, Chelsea probably had the better chances. I mean, DVD in goal this one, great save from Maggie Beaver-Jones, on the counter. That would have killed the game. The game was already over, but it would have absolutely, it would have sealed it. But no, just the same old Arsenal, and sadly.
Is that a worry going into the next game that things can still happen? You look at this week, for example, we've got Valerengra tomorrow in the Champions League. Lose that, potentially you could be out of the Champions League. You look at playing West Ham at the weekend as well. It doesn't look 100% great at the moment.
Yeah.
It doesn't, but there's also things that have changed. I've been trying to dance around the subject without saying it because of the other pod that we've got. But things have changed. Someone else is at the wheel now. Jonas is gone. That's it. Done. Dusted. If you want to hear our opinions on that, you have to go find our Jonas pod. But how do I put it? It might be a refreshing breeze with Rene at the wheel. We'll see. I mean, there's nominations flying around, and it's like, yes, no, maybe. But we'll see what Arsenal come up with because they are actively looking for a new manager. Head coach. Sorry.
Yeah. I agree. There had to be a change, and we'll get onto that change in our other pod. It's these two games now until the international break, Valerenga and West Ham United. If, let's say, in the hypothetical universe, Jonas was still at the wheel, I could have easily seen us say drawing both those games.
I would have said we would have been out of the Champions League. That would have been it for me.
If we were to draw to Valerenga, I would say, yeah, probably the case.
Yeah.
Because I could see them playing a low block, and I could see the way that we were playing. We wouldn't probably not be able to break them down. It'd be a frustrating 0-0 draw.
What's annoying me is Russo and Stina at the minute. I don't know what the hell is going on there. With Stina, we know it's the hesitation, but once she gets that one goal, she's off. But I don't know what's going on with Alessia.
Well,
it's weird.
It's weird, but I'd also say since the start of the WSL, how many clear-cut, not like scrambles in the box or anything, but a clear-cut opportunity, how many can you remember Russo having since the start of this season? How many? None, Matt?
I'm sure it was opening day of the season against City where she had 3 or 4 chances where she had an open goal and she opted to shoot.
She had one chance, the 1v1, which she back passed to the keeper. And that is the only chance I think where I thought, yeah, she probably should have scored that. I know she had a volley in this game, but it was through a crowd straight at the keeper. It was a bit, very, very low XG. There was one moment in the entire season so far that since the WSL season started, I thought, yeah, Russo should have scored that. And for me, it's not just a matter of the strikers not taking chances. It's the fact that there's just no creativity in the team. And the strikers aren't, either the strikers aren't in the right positions or the players aren't finding the strikers. And that is just a whole load of lack of communication and lack of creativity and lack of awareness. And yeah, that just leads to we've got all this attacking talent on the pitch and no one knows where everyone is. And that to me is the biggest moment. Like I said, Stina races into box and tries to pass it to another player who's not there. That in a nutshell is the Arsenal attack, and that's why none of our forwards are scoring goals.
So on that, Rene is going to be in charge for the interim. She did take the press conference. I've nearly forgot the words there. She talked about how she has a lot of respect for Jonas and what he's done. She actually, I didn't know this, but she previously took charge of Rosengard when Jonas left to take over at Arsenal. So it's a bit of a full circle moment for her. And some of the stuff that she said, she's talked about there's a focus on tomorrow's game. She was not prepared for this moment, but she's only focused now on the team. Lucy, does that instill you a little bit of confidence?
Yeah, I'm a bit more confident. I don't know about the full circle because I didn't know she'd done that previously for Jonas in the previous role. Look, I think tomorrow night the players, it's going to be like a weight's been lifted. First 5-10 minutes, I'm not expecting much, but I think once they get into the groove, I think you're going to see a different Arsenal tomorrow night.
Lottie?
Yeah, it was a case of like listening to the beginning of her thing that she's happy to help the club and make sure the players are the number one priority. And I think that for me is the most important thing. She's done this before, so we'll see what happens. I haven't actually seen her do it with her the previous club that she was with, but it'll be interesting to find out because I'm now looking forward to going back to the Emirates again. And it is such a good feeling, honestly. Like compared to Saturday, it's like polar opposites.
Adam,
I'm really happy to go tomorrow night. Sorry.
Yeah,
no, that's all right.
There's always an element of excitement and I think it's the unknown because Rene's been I think the club for a while, as you say, Matt. She took over after Jonas in his previous role, so there is an element of she's done this before, so she's not a novice when it comes to coaching. She has experience. I think there's an excitement because we don't know what to expect, so therefore we assume it's going to be better than what we've already experienced. My only concern is around expectations, and that is if, let's say, Rene wins against Valerengra and say she wins against West Ham United, and then we've got the international break, and you know that the people online will be going, give her a full-time contract, give her to the end of the season, and we end up in a inverted commas Ole Gunnar Solskjaer situation, where it's suddenly people will be going, and now Lottie's shaking her head where Rene is at the wheel, she's restored a feel-good factor, put smiles in all the players' faces, and I just want to be careful to quell expectations. We don't know what to expect. I don't expect Rene to get the job full time, and I think we will see her manage these two games, see how they do. Just got to get through them, get to international break, and then we'll see what happens. But I think, a fresh voice in we're getting onto into our Jonas sacking pod, obviously, but I think Rene, as a fresh voice in the camp, I think will do the team some good going into the Valerenga game, and I would expect a positive result and a response to what's happened at the Chelsea game.
Oh no, absolutely. Just touching back on the Chelsea game, she was also arguing with Jonas on the touchline. I don't know if you noticed, Adam.
No, I didn't. No, I was too busy watching the game.
No. I just looked down and they were just sitting there arguing. I was like, why are you not looking at what the game's going on with the game?
Maybe she's not following him to the next place.
Maybe not. We'll see. But yeah, they looked like they were like intense conversation, shall we say? But I generally think it was an argument because stuff wasn't working. I'm just looking forward to what she can bring to the table. I mean, it's Valerenga, West Ham, and then it's a 2-week break, and we come back to Man United. So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, the only other thing that I'd like to talk about in the press conference was Kim was actually there as well. She's not, let's be honest, that she's not had a great start to the season, but she said that it'll be nice to refocus and take responsibility and make sure to put on a performance. She's grateful for the fans and the opportunity to play at the Emirates. So again, it's another opportunity and it's another chance to put on a performance for the fans into this game tomorrow, which will be a 5:45 kickoff on YouTube DAZN channel as well as on DAZN's own app. If you're
no, it's 8 o'clock in the evening. It's 8 o'clock. Yeah, it's a later one. Sorry, Matt.
I panicked then, thinking, God, I'll get it earlier.
Yeah,
you know what it is.
My app thinking, oh my God, I've got to bomb it from work.
I was going to say, I will.
Matt, you're trying to scare me. Stop it.
Juventus, the one afterwards. The away game is the one that's got the earlier kickoff.
So I've got it mixed the wrong way. But anyway, it's going to be 8 o'clock kickoff under the lights at the Emirates Champions League. How excited are you all going to be?
Yeah, I'm excited. The first Champions League game we've had at Emirates Stadium from the women's side since Wolfsburg.
Yes, that was an event and a half.
And it's amazing how the world has changed. Imagine if I traveled back in time and met you after the game and told you Jonas will never manage a Champions League game at Emirates Stadium after that. You'd look at me and think I was mad. But that was the last time we managed a Champions League game at Emirates Stadium. After that,
At least it ended on some sort of good one, especially.
Well, and he didn't even win it, but I mean, his last as a stats thing, his last Champions League win at Emirates Stadium was the 2-0 win against Bayern Munich.
I'll take that.
Yeah, that's so. Hopefully we can get me a repeat of that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Emirates Stadium, sat amongst you lot, which is going to be great. Hopefully we can get a win. We haven't had one of those for a while at home, so that'd be nice. And
yes, please. Yeah. I don't think I can take another 5-3 battering, especially when it was my birthday.
Yeah, well, I'll do. Also the anthem as well, which is always great. So I'm looking forward to Champions League anthem. It's not going to be a great crowd, obviously. We know what this competition is like at this stage in terms of the attendances.
Do you know what? I'd be happy with 5,000 to 8,000 people there.
Yeah, same.
Much better, because I find that the fans who do go to Meadow Park, this is no offense to any other fan that goes, you will hear them, and you will hear us as well. And it's not. I think what really annoyed me on Saturday was we had a fan singing "What do you think of Tottenham?"
Yeah.
And I'm like sitting here thinking Chelsea, and I've turned around, I've looked over, looked at Lucy, and I've screamed, "What do we think of Chelsea?" That got the response.
Oh, you weren't having it at all.
Oh no.
I wasn't having
Tottenham,
it
wouldn't
straight away.
One iota, I'm telling you that now. But like, I was just like, I looked at Lucy and I went, "Why? Why?" It's just, I know it's difficult coming into the stadium and you don't really know the chants. But if you've got someone in your block, listen to what they're saying, try and join in and go from there. Even if it's just the generic Arsenal songs, like the more complicated ones, like Mariona's one, or sing it in the North Bank, I should say. You just need to learn to catch the words. It's quite easy the amount of times we repeat ourselves.
Go on then, we'll go with score predictions. I'm going to go with, it was a very tight game. They did lose 1-0 to Juventus, so I'm expecting another tough game. I am going to go with a 2-0 win to Arsenal. Oh, actually, I should also mention that Lena Hurtig is going to be available for this one as well, so that's even better. We might get to see a Lena Hurtig opportunity. Adam, scores?
Yeah, I'm not expecting a shed load of goals, a big scoreline. I still think that even though the players are talking positively in the press, I still think they're not going to be like magically lifted. I think they're still going to be a bit down. But I'm going to back the team to win, and it's going to be a tight 2-1.
Lottie?
2-1 to the Arsenal. Bit of a cop-out, but I have a feeling a revitalised few minutes from Lena Hurtig will bring us some joy. That girl loves a goal in the Champions League, so I'll take it at this point.
Yeah.
Lucy?
God, you're going to laugh at my scoreline now.
Drum roll,
I think
please.
3-0. No, I think 3-0 Arsenal. Genuinely, okay. And I'm not making it up.
Oh, okay.
Brave. Not laughing, just brave.
Yeah, very. It's what I feel. I don't know. I could be way wrong.
People have played in their right positions. You never know.
It's actually, speaking of position, playing the position, but just to say, in terms of teams, obviously there were a few players that didn't make it off the bench against Chelsea. Rose Kafaji, Molekul. Do they play in this one? I'd
put Rosa on. I'd give Mariona a little bit of a rest. Why not? I want
would you give
Kafaji magic? You know this.
Would you have Key start as well?
Ooh, no.
No.
Sorry.
I think she needs.
I don't think Kim. I really hate to say this, but Kimmy's at that point where she can't run a full 90 anymore.
No, not Kimmy. Katrine Molekul.
If you let me finish.
Sorry.
God.
Sorry.
You love jumping down my throat. I know who you're talking about. But I'm just saying, Kimmy can't do a full 90 anymore, and we need to start looking to Kyra, looking to Key, and going from there.
I hope she gets some minutes
because that's what they're there for. Either one of them, beside Leah Volti, is a calming effect, and they seem to keep their heads. So even if they get like a few minutes, it's something, because Key hasn't seen anything. Kyra is getting limited minutes as it is because Leah Volti's now fit. So it's a case of time management and how the rotation goes. If we don't see Kyra or Key this game, we'll definitely see them at West Ham, I think.
Ooh, there's a thought.
It's a possibility as long as we don't take them with a pinch of salt like we did last season. I can't go through that again.
That was awful. It was awful.
It was.
Lucy, do you think we'll see Katrine or Rosa?
I think more likely to see Rosa than, if I'm truthfully honest with you. But yeah, I think they make an appearance.
So that is all for us on this pod. Where can the lovely people find you, Adam?
You can find me at Adam_Salter4 on Twitter, Threads, and Instagram. Why is Lottie shaking her head like that? That's my at.
Yeah, only recently, just like the underscore's catching on, is it?
It is. It just puts me in line of just makes things a lot easier to remember.
What about the...
Well, yes, if you want to follow the archive as well, that's at the AW Archive. There's a few cup finals on the horizon when we won some matches and even won some silverware. So do keep an eye out for that.
Lottie, where can the lovely people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Lottie_AWC, all on the VAW pod page. That's usually where I run my wonderful graphics that I come up with now and again. Or you can find me at Lottie_AWC on Twitter.
And Lucy, where can the lovely people find you?
I don't know, I just want an underscore now. You can find me on Instagram, LucyOnLife90.
You can also follow me at MattLR28. That is all for us on this one. Hope you enjoy wherever you are. And don't forget, come on, you Gunners.